Thirsty Grips. I'm Ali Hosseinian. Today we're going to check out Impact Jiu Jitsu McMinnville, and we're going to interview my coach and professor, Coach Johnny GoForth. Let's go inside.
I'm smiling, I can't help it.
That's great, thank you. We are Impact Jiu Jitsu McMinnville. This is my home academy. This is my coach, Johnny GoForth. He is our black belt. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So this is our home gym. This is actually our home school. And this is it's going through a third rendition, version 3 right now, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about when you started Impact Jiu Jitsu McMinnville.
Yes. So in 2012, March of 2012, I got a call from Michael Chapman. Said there's an opportunity for us to start a school in McMinnville. Do you want to do it? You and Pastor are out there? I said, yeah. And so we did. There was another couple of schools that were running different flavors of martial arts.
Locally,
yeah, and invited us onto their mat space with them. So that is what we did for the first 4 years, 2012 to 2016.
It's like a warehouse before environment.
Yep.
Okay, I've seen some pictures of it. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of a warehouse space, and we trained 2 nights a week for 4 years, and then the opportunity came for version 2.0, and we were able to buy this building and move to the academy here, and the rest is history. I joke around and say we're a 9-year overnight success.
Right, a 9-year overnight success. So, if I'm not mistaken, you started Impact Jiu Jitsu McMinnville as a blue belt.
That's correct. It was a 4-stripe blue belt under Michael. Originally started training at Impact in Newburgh, and then kind of transitioned to training more at Beaverton, and then once we started out here, it was all she wrote.
Right on. So, now, you're a really modest guy, actually. I have to say, you're one of the most humble and most modest guys that I know, to be honest. When you say that, we were able to buy the building and this and that, ultimately you made some right decisions. You took certain risks, and you took this building, which used to be, what was this, like an insurance building, or
It used to be a real estate company.
Real estate company.
And then there was a few other businesses in the upstairs and
Gotcha.
on the other side, yeah.
So you took that leap of faith and you invested in a passion that you have.
Yep.
And along with some very close friends, you created this facility that I first walked into 4 years ago. And I came from another academy, a very good academy, very nice academy, but it was in Tiger, where I was first moved from California with my family. And one of my first things was, if we're going to move there has to be a Jiu Jitsu academy. And lo and behold, there was. And the first couple times I stopped by, I heard a bunch of banging going on upstairs, and there was nobody down here quite yet. And I walked in, I was like, hello, and nobody came down at first. I said, all right, so I came back again, and I think I spoke with you, and you said, just come on down. And I came in, and I was greeted by you. And I got to tell you, at first I was very intimidated. You're a man of stature. You're a strong dude. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Like, you're one of the strongest guys I know. And I was intimidated to get on the mat. One, everybody that was on the mat here, they were all game like, I heard the term like corn-fed?
Yeah.
Like country boys out here,
yes.
And, I am not that.
Right.
Lo and behold, you've helped me slowly become that. And we'll get into that maybe another day. But you were so warm and so welcoming to me that I knew right then that this was going to be my home. And it's been a really cool experience, and I appreciate that. how long have you been training now?
Since March of 2009. So I think this month marks, is that 12 years? 2009? 2021? Is that 12
Young
years?
Ashton, that's his department.
I'm from Willamina, so you can't trust my math. But
Roughly.
yeah, roughly. I think it's 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years and 3 years of black belt. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's awesome.
12 years.
Did you have any other experience prior to that? Did you have any other?
Yeah, I did. In the 8th grade, I did Shori Kimji Kempo, which is like a lead hand technique type Kempo. And I enjoyed it, but then in high school, I played football and I wrestled, and wrestling was really the thing that drew me to Jiu-Jitsu, I think, or sort of steered me towards Jiu-Jitsu. Because I loved wrestling. It was such a great sport for me in high school, and learned a lot about myself.
I can imagine. No, wrestling will do that to you for sure.
Absolutely.
I wrestled as well. I was by no means very successful in it, but I learned a lot. I learned about the grind.
Yep.
And wrestlers, some would say they do it the best.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
when it comes to actually having that grind. And, you know, background. You said you did wrestling in high school.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes,
How-
wrestled out of Willamina, and started my junior year. Wish I would have started a lot sooner. I wrestled 11 matches, lost a lot. I think I won 5 matches, lost 6. That's not a lot of matches though. That's only 11. But I was a junior. It was my first time doing it. And then my senior year, I wrestled up a weight. I weighed about 215, and I wrestled ultra heavy because we didn't have a guy at that weight. And I ended up finishing 3rd in the state.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Fast
So-
learners. Some would say that's called
Yeah,
fast learner.
my wrestling coach, who's coming here and taught a couple classes for us, just said you only need a couple, you need to know a couple techniques and just do them well. And that's what I did. And I was in really good shape, so I pushed those big guys into the 2nd, 3rd round, and they didn't have enough in the gas tank. So
You took them.
yep.
Yeah, very cool. So, if someone was considering jiu-jitsu, they've been on the fences about getting into jiu-jitsu. What would your advice be to them?
Jump in.
Just jump in. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, jump in. I mean, it's, Coach Chapman says this a lot, that jiu-jitsu is not for everyone, and we know that. And especially Impact Jiu-Jitsu as a whole, we're like a Velcro wall, and Freedom says this. And we have people that run and come and they jump and they hit that Velcro wall, and some of them stick, and some of them slide off.
Sure.
And the ones that stick are the ones that we work with and we build from, obviously, and that just keeps happening. We just have people keep running and jumping on this wall, and pretty soon the wall's full of people, and 9 years later you have an academy full of people that are training and love it. But it's not for everybody, and I think that it's one of the greatest forms of ego deflation and depth. And for me, like, I needed that. I needed to have that check in my life, and I was willing to participate in that.
Sure.
And so I love the environment that Jiu-Jitsu creates, and I think any person who doesn't sticks with it will be richly rewarded, because it's made every aspect of my life better.
If you had to choose one particular jiu-jitsu player of current or past, who would be your favorite? Like who's been your most entertaining and why?
Wow. I would say when I was kind of coming up through the ranks, who had really was just a dominant force was Adolfo Vieira.
Okay.
And I really liked his style. He was like a 221 pounder, so he was like my weight class. But he had great takedowns, and he was just a fierce passer.
To pass,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Coming
so-
here to this academy, understanding, this is an academy about passing and pressure.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just relentless on his passes, left to right, and they were just dominant once he passed. So I have to go with Adolfo.
We were talking about competition as well. So I've had the good fortune of competing and having you as my coach, that's something that I love about this academy. From day one, even before I officially I came to this academy, you saw me compete in limbo between both academies, and you were like, you don't have a coach, I'll coach you. You know, and I think it's second that day.
Yeah.
In competition, let's see, where was I going with this? So, for your competition and your experiences, please tell me your favorite moment in competition where you competed.
Wow. My favorite moment was probably the first time I made it out of the first round of cans.
Is this on video by any chance?
Oh gosh.
If it's not, that's fine.
It might be. I don't know who would have it, but I was cutting weight hard to make 221, and I remember I was out jogging in a sweatsuit.
Oh, okay.
And literally came in, got called to the bullpen, got to the bullpen, kept the sweatsuit on, and walked up to the scale, peeled the sweatsuit off, put my gi back on, tied my belt, stepped on the scale, and I was half a pound under.
Wow.
So I made weight, and then walked right to the mat.
Oh my gosh.
And it was this dude from North Carolina. I remember he felt like a wrestler when we started the match. And I remember feeling pretty drained, but like there's this something happens, I think, when you're cutting weight for a match. And guys have done who fought, like you have to, it's like good to go into the match hungry and kind of worn out a little bit.
Sure.
Because you gotta earn your dinner.
Right.
My buddy Russell too used to say that I gotta earn my dinner tonight. And I remember shooting on the guy and I slipped when I shot, and so I fell back and pulled guard and was playing guard the whole match, and the guy wasn't doing very good to pass, and there was I think 30 seconds left in the match, and I didn't know if there was advantage points, if I was losing, if he was winning, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just remember I hit a Sanji sweep on him, the unstoppable sweep. Or
Yeah.
no, I hit a flower sweep.
Okay.
I was in closed guard, he stood up on me, and I yanked on his collar and posture, and as soon as he bent over, I hit that flower
Nice.
sweep and mounted him. So I got 2 and then 4,
And 4.
being 6-0. And I was like, it's
That's
like I
so
broke
cool.
the curse, you know.
That's neat.
Of not making it out of the first round. And then my next match, I beat my guy with Kimura, and then I ended up losing in the finals. Took second place, but I remember that moment. That's one moment that I remember, just like that feeling of like, okay,
That's awesome.
yeah, just kind of propelled me to the next round.
Now, and what was your worst experience?
Oh, it was at a tournament up in Washington, and I had my blue belt for probably 6 months to a year, and won a few tournaments. Like I won my first tournament after getting my blue belt, and it's just the natural progression of jiu-jitsu, feeling pretty big in the britches, and then I just got smashed.
Did you feel like you underestimated your opponents, or?
No, he was just way better than me.
Fair enough. Okay.
And he was this big black dude up in Washington. He was like 6'7", 280 pounds. I was about 250, and he never let me off my back.
Gotcha.
The whole match. It didn't submit me, but I think he beat me like 12 or 15 to nothing. And I remember coming off the mat just like, well, that one's exciting, and just kind of learning like, okay,
Yeah.
like, this is part of jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
And but yeah, I'll never forget that for sure.
That's pretty awesome. Man. So yeah, so those are your competition experiences.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, they come into jiu-jitsu for self-defense, right? They may have no experience whatsoever.
Yep.
They may have some experience, but they have just stand-up or striking, and they would love to get some grappling in. Please fill me in on a moment in life where you've had to use jiu-jitsu in real life.
Yeah.
If you can share,
Yep.
if you'd like to share that.
I've only had, there's been I've definitely used verbal jiu-jitsu.
Fair enough. Okay.
Which Henry Gracie calls a verbal jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
or I've definitely talked my way out of some situations that were just, there was definitely less anger needed in the situation.
Sure.
So
Diffused it.
Yeah.
De-escalated for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's definitely like even in situations that in my personal life that have like, just situations that are high tension, it's definitely helped me to just be more calm and
Gotcha.
discerning.
Ranch or Italian dressing, I get it.
Yeah,
it gets
exactly,
crazy sometimes.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I had this one incident many years ago. I was a blue belt at the time, and I'd been training right at about a year. And was at this birthday party for a friend, and there was alcohol there, and this guy was really intoxicated talking to a friend of mine, and just kind of kept escalating. And I just finally just walked up to him, and he looked at me and yelled some things at me, and when you do jiu-jitsu for any amount of time, like those sort of interactions and like attempts at like trying to start something just aren't really questions that we need to answer because we do it in here. But so things kept escalating, and I walked over, just tried to separate him, say, hey, let me buy you a drink. And when I did that, the guy like double-legged me, took me down, we fell across these tables and landed in guard, and right away I drug his arm across so he couldn't hit me.
Sure.
And I was very calm, and I just said, hey man, I'm just here to have a good time, I'll let you go. And he said, if you let me go, I'm gonna kill you.
Okay.
And I said, okay. So I just slipped the collar of his jacket under his chin, took him out, and he slept in my lap, and I let go of him, and just stayed there in that same position, kind of came to, and I said, dude, I can do this all night long, but I just very calmly said, I just want to let you go. I'm just here to have a good time, can I do that? He looked up at me and said, yes, sir. And that was it. So no punches, no kicks.
Nice.
Just a little
Very cool.
cutting off the blood flow to the old brain.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
We'll do it every time.
Well, Volume 3 of the Academy is well on its way. We're going to have more mat space soon.
Yes.
Thank you for all the hard work and everything
Yes,
that
sir.
you invest in this Academy. We appreciate you. Just want to say that. Really appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
And before we end this, I would like, if you'd be so kind, and I know that generally speaking, there's such things as private lessons, but if you'd be so kind to demonstrate in detail one of your favorite go-tos, and if you could think of a moment where this might be something you've used in tournament.
All right, I am going to demonstrate my most favorite choke from the top position, which is called the paper cutter choke. Some people call it the bread cutter choke. I like to call it paper cutter. It's just what I've always known it as. And the person who taught to me was Dewey Nielsen in Newburgh Impact Jiu-Jitsu. Used to catch me with it all the time, and I was like, I gotta learn that. And it's what I won most of my medals in tournament with this choke, so I have lots of video of that too. So, let's get right into it, Ashton. So we've passed the guard, and we're in cross sides position. The paper cutter choke happens from the north-south position, and so I always like to teach how we transition from cross sides position or side mount, whatever people call it. I call it cross side top. We always want to replace our points of contact, right? We don't want to I don't want to just take my weight off of Ashton and move because he'll regard. So I'm going to come here. I like to come over the head and replace to the hip as I transition to what's called north-south position here. Okay, now with my right arm, I'm going to underhook him, and I'm going to grab 4 fingers into the collar of his gi here, his lapel. So I have a 4-finger grip under his armpit to his collar, and then I'm going to go with thumb in grip on his collar here, and I'm just going to hold this motion down, and then position, or a part of the choke that I like, helps me to remember and to coach it, is I pike my hips and spike my shoulders. So I pike and spike my shoulder into his chest, and then drop to the choke and get the tap. and that is the paper cutter choke. One more time. So we're cross sides here. Transition. Move to north-south. I pommel underneath. Get my 4-finger grip. Thumb in. Hike. Spike. And the choke with the Jiu Jitsu cough.
Nice.
There are lots of different defenses people will do. I'll just go over those real quick. So we're in this north-south position. If they're hiding this near side arm and not letting me get the underhook, sometimes they'll we'll drop that hand in a way. What I'll do is, or if they're keeping it hidden here, like say I get the grip, but they won't move that arm out. What I'll do is I'll walk around their head and sit and see how the arm comes out. Then I come back across. It's one little option you can do. If he knows the choke, he's gonna defend. He's gonna do that, yeah. So what I'll do here, if he's defending, I come over the top and grab. If he is controlling my arm or my elbow or something, yeah, right, he's not letting me do it. So what I'll do is I'll pretend that I'm going to attack this arm. Anybody in Jiu-Jitsu that feels this motion is thinking what?
Arm lock.
Americana,
Yeah.
right? And the reaction usually is to straighten the arm, okay? So I look for that, and I feed off that. I push down to the mat, he pummels it, and I pin it with my head. Get your arm back, Ashton. Right? Now by that time, I'm transitioning to the choke. Real quick, that is the paper cutter choke, my El Favorito.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, tune in next time for Thirsty Grips. Coming for the chokes, keep your submissions tight and keep your escapes even tighter. Bye bye, friends.